Imagine you're sitting in a meeting. Your boss blames an innocent coworker. Everyone knows it's unfair. Everyone stays silent, except one person. They stand up and say, "That's not true." Now, here's the strange part. That person wasn't necessarily stronger or smarter or braver. In fact, just minutes earlier, they were probably just as scared as everyone else. So why did they speak up while everyone else stayed quiet? Why do some people start revolutions while others silently adapt? The answer isn't just about courage. It's hidden deep inside the human brain. And once you understand it, you'll never look at history or yourself the same way again. Every generation has its rebels, the people who challenged kings, questioned dictators, exposed corruption, started protests, protected strangers, or simply said no. But for every rebel, there are thousands who stay silent, not because they agree, not because they don't care, but because something inside them says it's safer this way. Today, we're exploring one of psychology's biggest questions. Why do some people revolt while others quietly accept the world as it is? Let's begin with a surprising truth. Your brain doesn't care whether you're free. It cares whether you're alive. For most of human history, survival depended on staying with the group. Disagreeing with the group could get you expelled. Being rejected once meant risking your life, and being alone often meant death. So evolution rewarded caution. When confrontation appears dangerous, your brain's alarm system activates. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tense, your thoughts become focused on avoiding danger. In that moment, staying silent doesn't feel like cowardice. It feels logical. Now imagine everyone around you is acting as though nothing is wrong. Even if you know they're mistaken, would you still speak up? Psychologist Solomon Asch asked this question in a clever experiment. Participants looked at simple lines. The correct answer was obvious. But when everyone else intentionally chose the wrong answer, many participants copied them. Not because they believed the answer, because nobody wants to be the odd one out. Sometimes fitting in feels safer than telling the truth. Then comes authority. Teachers, bosses, police, parents, governments. Stanley Milgram discovered something shocking. Ordinary people obeyed instructions they believed were hurting someone else. Most weren't evil. They simply trusted authority more than their own judgment. Responsibility shifted away from themselves. I was just following orders. History contains countless examples of ordinary people doing extraordinary harm, simply because someone in charge told them to. But perhaps the saddest reason people remain silent is called learned helplessness. Imagine trying to escape again and again and again. Every attempt fails. Eventually, you stop trying. Not because escape is impossible, because your brain has learned that effort changes nothing. This happens in abusive relationships, toxic workplaces, corrupt societies, even schools. The prison isn't always physical. Sometimes it's psychological. Here's where things become fascinating. People don't rebel because life is difficult. They rebel because they realize life could be different. This is called relative deprivation. Imagine waiting in line for years. Suddenly, someone cuts in front of you. The delay didn't change much, but the unfairness feels unbearable. Our brains react strongly to injustice, especially when we believe we deserve better. Think about every major movement in history. Someone moved first. One whistleblower, one journalist, one student, one employee, one citizen. One person speaking changes the psychology of everyone else. Silence creates more silence, but courage creates more courage. When people realize they aren't alone, fear begins to shrink. Hope grows. And suddenly, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Revolutions rarely begin with one event. They're built from thousands of frustrations. Each disappointment fills an invisible bucket. Then, one final draw arrives. A speech, an arrest, a video, a price increase, a scandal. The final event isn't always the biggest. It's simply the moment the bucket overflows. That's why history often seems to change overnight, when in reality, it had been changing quietly for years. So, are rebels born differently? Not exactly. Some personalities naturally tolerate risk better. Some value independence more. Some have stronger moral identities. But almost anyone can become either silent or rebellious, depending on one simple equation: fear, hope, support, identity, opportunity. When fear is stronger, people stay quiet. When hope becomes stronger, people begin to act. The next time you wonder why someone stayed silent, remember, their brain may have been protecting them. And the next time you see someone stand alone against injustice, remember, they probably felt fear too. The difference wasn't the absence of fear. It was that something else became stronger. Hope, purpose, responsibility, or simply the belief that staying silent would hurt more than speaking. Perhaps that's what every revolution really is. Not the disappearance of fear, but the moment hope finally outweighs it. So here's a question for you. Can you remember a moment when you stayed silent, even though you knew something wasn't right? Or a moment when you finally spoke up? What changed? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, subscribe, because the next mystery might be about something you've experienced yourself without ever realizing why.